think it will always rear its ugly head, and I have to literally be there to talk to that specific part of my brain that's still healing itself. Because
what do you say?
Like for me,
what is the process?
I'll literally ask myself.
As Kelly Rowland verifies the worst rumors, she sobs. All right, everyone, this isn't customary. Something that fans have been saying for a while was just confirmed by Kelly Rowland. It's not just chatter either, it's really depressing. For a very long time, people have been claiming that she's under Beyoncé's shadow, that she was in an abusive relationship that she kept quiet about, and even that her son might be Jay-Z's. Quest Rowland passed away on January 22nd. She is at last discussing everything, including the suffering she endured and the length of time she had to remain silent. It strikes differently. She breaks down in tears at one point since she is unable to fully explain it. You can tell that this woman has experienced a lot after listening to what she has to say. Let's take a moment to reflect since you might not. View Kelly in the same light after realizing how profound this is. Born in Atlanta, Kelly Rowland had a difficult childhood. Due to serious issues, Kelly's mother, Doris, separated from Kelly's father. Kelly and her mother were the only people left after that. In an attempt to start again, they packed everything and relocated to Houston, Texas. At that point, things started to shift. There, Kelly met Beyoncé. Kelly moved in with Nollis's family. Since she and Nolly's were so close, Beyoncé was essentially raised by her mother as a second daughter. Indeed, they were more than simply buddies back then. They resembled family. Timeline for Girls was the initial iteration of Destiny's Child. Despite being young children, they were ravenous. They even lost their Star Search audition. They were released by their label. It wasn't pleasant. Conversely, Matthew Knoll took over as manager and secured a contract with Columbia Records for them. It all began at that point. Destiny's Child was one of the most well-known girl groups in the world. Let's face it though, Beyoncé continued to receive most of the spotlight. Although some of you may argue that Beyoncé was the front runner, consider what it would be like to be in a group where millions of people constantly tell you that you're number two. Always a little bit behind your best friend and always second best. That's not healthy for you, particularly if you're working just as hard. Additionally, Kelly was concealing some severe pain while admirers praised her singing and wardrobe choices. Who would you like to collaborate with in the studio that you haven't yet? Beyoncé? Do we truly wish to collaborate with Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, or another legendary figure? When Kelly released Dirty Laundry in 2013, nobody anticipated it. Breaking up wasn't the only topic of this song. Kelly was discussing being in an unhealthy relationship. She never identified the man, but her words were sufficient. She claimed that this individual had caused her bodily, emotional, and mental harm. She felt worthless because of him. She no longer recognized herself. That tune was also difficult to record. Kelly claimed that she sobbed repeatedly. Even when the label played it, she was unable to remain in the room. It was that genuine. And this is where individuals were most affected. She claimed to be envious of Beyoncé. Not with malice, but with hurt. She stated, "While my sister was on stage killing it like a mother, I was angry, feeling it like amateur." She expressed her pride in Bey. She was, of course. However, she also thought that while she was stuck, her best buddy was flying high. And she was sinking. She wanted to be joyful, but she was always depressed by her own suffering. She went on to say that it took days to record that one song. She continued to crumble. Fans were stunned when they eventually heard it. When she was popular, people were unaware of anything she was going through. That was regarded by fans as the biggest secret. However, they soon turned their attention to her son. The fans truly came through at this point. Some people have long believed that Titan, Kelly Rowland's son, may actually be Jay-Z's son. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Online users are constantly discussing it, and not in a subdued manner. Let's dissect it. According to some fans, Titan, Kelly's son, resembles Jay-Z quite a bit. Even images of Titan and Blue Ivy side by side are included. Indeed, a few of those images do resemble them. They all have the same noses, faces, and even facial expressions. Things start to become intriguing at this point. There was this moment at the Harder They Falls premiere. Jay-Z was there. When he initially saw Kelly, it appeared as though he had no idea who she was, but suddenly his entire attitude changed. His expression brightened, and he hugged her as though they had not seen one another in a while. Now let's be clear. Kelly is married. Titan's husband claims that Titan's father is Tim Weatherspoon. Additionally, there are images of Tim as a kid that resemble Titan too. Thus, it is likely that this rumor is merely fan fiction. Here's the problem though. There is always a rumor. For nearly a decade, it has been in circulation. This topic keeps coming up since people bring it up whenever Titan is spotted in public or Kelly uploads a photo. And when there are more speculations circulating regarding Jay-Z's children, this is where things become even more confusing. Alright, let's discuss something that exacerbates the Titan predicament. There have been claims that Jay-Z had previously concealed a child. Yes, Ramir said is the subject of our conversation. For years, Ramir has maintained that Jay-Z is his biological father. According to Wanda, Ramir's mother, she was with Jay-Z in the early 1990s. When Jay was still going by Rock, she claimed that he took her to Brooklyn for a period after they first met in Philadelphia. Shortly after that, she became pregnant. However, this is where things become complicated. Ramir's birth certificate named Robert Graves as his father. However, a DNA test conducted in 2011 revealed that Robert was not the father. Things heated up at that point. Ramir decided to appear in court with his godmother, Dr. Lily Key. Jay-Z was asked to take a paternity test, but they claim he repeatedly put it off and avoided it outright. Some claim he halted the case's progress by abusing his connections and influence. Additionally, the legal stuff is absurd. Ramir and Lily claim that the New Jersey judges actually assisted Jay-Z in putting an end to the dispute. They claim that those judges purposefully delayed the case and rejected solid evidence. They even claimed at one time that Jay-Z's attorneys had placed illegitimate liens on their property, forcing them to pay money they didn't owe. Their attempt to obtain a DNA test cost them over $100,000. The situation is now becoming worse. Ramir's mother, Wanda, passed away before she could receive a satisfactory response. However, she never backed down from her statements. She always believed that Jay-Z was the father. Ray's godmother, Lily, said something that has been with me ever since. She believed that Jay-Z's silence was due to the possibility that his reputation would suffer if a DNA test ever came back positive. The theory that Kelly's youngster could be Jay-Z's is not merely conjecture. Jay-Z has previously steered clear of paternity allegations, and you begin to wonder when the same rumors keep popping up. There was more to Kelly's troubles than just hearsay. She also experienced some severe trauma. Let's discuss something Kelly didn't really have to say. However, years later, Beyoncé's father came clean. Matthew Knowles claimed that when Destiny's Child was still in its infancy in the early 2000s, Kelly and Beyoncé suffered abuse while on tour. They were just 16 at the time, you guys. The Jagged Edge Boys, who were in their early 20s, were acting totally inappropriately on the tour bus, according to Matthew. Whatever it was, the girls were so uncomfortable that they called Matthew from the bus to inform him about it. Matthew didn't go into specifics. The problem is this. These ladies were already dealing with issues like this because they were teenagers. While pursuing his dreams, Matthew made rapid progress. No one really discussed it when T ejected the two Jagged Edge members from the tour. Beyoncé never mentioned it. Neither did Kelly. Everything appeared to have been put away. Yes, Kelly was out there doing interviews, dancing on stage, and grinning for the cameras. Behind all of that, though, she was coping with unwanted behavior from grown males and was unable to discuss it. Additionally, social media started to turn against her just when she thought she could unwind. After breaking a record, Chris Brown received a comment from Kelly on Instagram. It was just a straightforward, "I love AO." She was in Australia at the time. Had no idea what was happening in the United States. However, everything was in disarray when she woke up. She was accused of racist toward people of color. She said that, given that Chris had recently released a song with hurtful lyrics, she was supporting someone with a difficult past. However, Kelly stated that she was unaware of the song. She didn't hear it. She was only congratulating someone she believed was succeeding in the music industry. But the damage had already been done. The supporters had already decided. However, matters worsened when con artists used her name to obtain funds. Thus, I'm constantly defending myself. Are you understanding me? That I'm choosing the worst guys to hang out with and having the worst relationships while attempting to keep safe. One of the most intimate aspects of Kelly's life is her bond with her father. Her absence from him lasted for 30 years. 3 whole decades of silence, that is. She felt as she grew older that he had abandoned her and had never returned. It is a persistent form of pain. However, after she became a mother, things took a different turn. She started reflecting on the meaning of forgiveness, and she genuinely wants to reconnect. Even more unexpected is the fact that Jay-Z instructed her to contact him. Indeed, he assisted her in confronting that aspect of her history. She followed through on her promise. Kelly claimed that seeing her father for the first time was upsetting. They conversed for a while. She claimed that the rage subsided. It was no longer even about assigning responsibility. She was prepared to leave. That is true healing. It wasn't for the cameras either. It wasn't an act for publicity. For her own peace of mind and the sake of her sons, she broke the pattern. And perhaps it is the purpose of everything. I must refrain from spilling the tea. Aloud, she is getting better. It's your time now, though. Do you think the news that Titan and Jay-Z are dating is true? Or is it on the internet? After all these years, do you believe Kelly will eventually confess the truth? Post your opinions in the comments section. If you believe that Kelly is now receiving the respect she is due, please subscribe and like this post.